Welcome to the No More Drafts podcast. I'm Louise Corinwe, and this is the podcast for people who are tired of slow progress, tired of overthinking things and waiting to feel ready before taking action. Each week, we unpack the fears, the patterns, and stories that keep you stuck in ways you may not even realize, so that you can take your next step forward, your next courageous action, and move towards doing your life's work and building a life that's bigger than fear. Together, we move you out of perpetual draft mode and into done mode. So, what are we talking about today? Welcome back, all you wonderful people who listen to this podcast. Thank you for joining me again. Today, we're talking about potential because it is so often misunderstood, but understanding it well can be a huge motivator towards making progress and beating procrastination and perfectionism. The reason that understanding potential is important is because procrastination often hides itself. And I spoke about this a few episodes ago. It can look productive and it can feel comfortable. It's not always just someone sitting on a sofa doing nothing, bored, scrolling through their phone. Many times through the work that I do with clients and my own personal experience, it actually looks good and it feels good. But the problem is building your potential and living in your potential means you normally have to be doing the thing that doesn't feel comfortable, actually. The thing that doesn't feel good, at least not at first. But yet that's often where perfectionists find themselves staying in what's comfortable. And also, procrastination is so often about doing what's comfortable to you, what comes naturally, what comes easily. And it seems to make sense. On the surface, it makes sense to only do the thing that you have existing competency in, that you're already good at, that you've proven you've mastered. To do something that you don't have capability in seems strange, right? Why would you do that? But this is precisely how you build your potential. This is the exact way you build your potential. So what is potential exactly? Many people think that potential exists today. When people say he's not living within his potential or existing within his potential, most often picture that the potential exists right now. But in reality, when we're speaking of potential, we're speaking of your capacity to do something in the future. Potential actually doesn't yet exist, but you can build and grow your potential today. You can build and grow your capacity and your potential to do something in the future or for the future. So that means in order to grow your potential and live within your potential, you need to be building it today. It all depends on the decisions that you're taking right now and the things you're doing right now. Staying within your capacity today and what you feel you can already do today is not making the required investments to build what you could do tomorrow, which is often much bigger, much more stretching than what you can do today. And that's why it's called potential. So the official definition of potential is something that can develop or become actual, or as Merriam-Webster puts it, capable of development into actuality. So your potential is actually what you're capable of doing in the future, or just generally what you're capable of doing. It's not yet fully actualized. So this is why you can't just work with what you are doing already now, what you've become comfortable with, what you've already mastered, because although it might develop your existing competencies, your existing capabilities, it doesn't do much to expand or grow what you could do tomorrow. And building potential is so important because potential enables you to do different things. Potential creates new future possibilities for you. So when we understand this, we can start to see everything we're doing, all the decisions we're making, the things we're prioritizing and focusing on as a real investment for the future. And we also start to see that it can't really be determined by anyone else, even you to a degree, because you don't really know fully exactly what will happen in the future, but you can set your vision. You can say, this is what I want to happen, right? And you can work towards that. But other people certainly can't predict what you'll have the capability to do in the future. This is all the more reason why we should limit the power and the authority we give to people that want to make judgments on what they think we can or can't do. And it's also why we should never underestimate anyone. Now, we might be able to look at what they're investing in today to be able to determine what we think they could be able to create and build in the future, for sure. But we don't know everything everyone is always doing, do we? We may know the things we see, but that's limited. We don't know how they're using every moment of their time at the end of the day. So even if we are able to judge someone's potential by their actions, we don't know everything they're doing. And we also don't know if they might change their actions tomorrow. This is a little reframe I'd love to offer you, which is each day, how are you growing and expanding your potential, what you have the future capability to do and to achieve? And how does that influence and impact how you view other people's opinions and judgments on what you've done, considering they don't know the investments you've made today to build it? And very few people can really predict what your potential can be. It's really hard to do that because they just don't know all the things you're doing. And very few people can predict the future well. But you can make investments today for it. That's what you can do. You can set a clear vision of what you want to be able to do, the capability you want to be able to have in the future, the things you want to be able to make real in the future. You can paint a picture of that and make investments towards that today. If you invest in your potential, you increase your abilities for the future. But, like I said, things can limit us from doing that. First of all, not being clear in what we want our potential to be, not maybe having a clear picture of what that looks like, people's opinions and judgments, which shape who we think we are. Sometimes we can think we don't have potential when the truth is, by the very definition of what it is, we all have the ability to influence, shape, and even design and direct what our future potential is. But the view we have of ourselves can affect it and restrict it. And the view we have on ourselves can be influenced by our past performance. We can say, oh, because I've not achieved XYZ in the past, or something didn't go well in the past, doesn't that mean my future potential is affected? No, you see, that's the beauty of potential. It differs from past performance. Past performance is not indicative of your future potential, of what you have the ability and the capacity to achieve in the future. You can't change the past, no. But in terms of what your future potential looks like I said, you can make decisions today to invest in that and to influence it and to shape it. In my career background, I worked in talent management. So I would lead the process that identifies talent for an organization and then develops that talent to achieve. And the concept of talent in an organization is founded upon this concept of potential. We don't identify talented people in an organization based on their past performance. We identify talent based on what they have the potential to do in the future. I mean, the two are connected, don't get me wrong, but that's not the focus. When we're identifying who could be a future leader, who is the talent in this organization, we're looking at their potential primarily. We're considering their past performance, but much more of the weight tends to go towards what they could do in the future. And the reason that that's important in the world of talent is because someone may do well today. They might have done well in their current role, but then put them in an environment where they're not comfortable, where it's not what they're used to. There's ambiguity, there's complexity that is different to their past role. And suddenly they're not performing as well. Because ultimately, a lot of potential is dependent on one's ability to do the uncomfortable things, to handle ambiguity, to handle uncertainty and new scenarios and situations. Because many organizations want their talent to be able to do different types of roles and to have that flexibility and recognize the fact that being a leader in any organization, things will be thrown at you that you couldn't have planned for all the time. Normally, more junior people have the certainty. They get given the instructions and the directions. I believe that will change. I believe that will change as we look ahead at the future of work and the landscape of organizations. But at least, historically, leaders have had to be the ones to take the brunt of most of the ambiguity and the uncertainty. And then the people that are following you are looking for the answer. They're looking for you to say what should happen next. They're rarely looking at the intern to say, what should happen next. But as organizations become more and more flat and less hierarchical, that will shift, that will evolve. But because as the leader, you are expected to navigate the ship, direct the ship in any water, whether it's calm, turbulent, or a hybrid of the two. Talent, people with high potential, are those who can handle that and still respond and still navigate the ship even in the midst of that turbulence. So you're looking at potential when it comes to talent, but potential is someone who can handle the uncomfortable things, the ambiguity, the complexity that they're not accustomed to. And that's why past performance is not always an indication that you can handle new situations and new scenarios. Because oftentimes people are performing well because they're comfortable. They just know their job. It's just something that they've learned and they've mastered. But what happens when they have to steer the team in a completely different setting, when things are not predictable? So this concept of potential is so much about not doing the thing you're already capable at, about not doing the things that feel good and that are comfortable to you. And actually, the more you are uncomfortable, the more you are investing in your potential and growing your potential, which is directly creating new futures and new possibilities for you. So here are 4 things that you could do to really start investing in your potential today. So these are not 4 ways to improve your performance, especially your performance in things you're already good at. And these are not 4 ways to even improve your productivity. These are 4 ways to build, invest, and grow your capacity and your ability to do things, new things, harder things in the future. The first thing is to start just cultivating running uncomfortable experiments as a way of life. Just make it your practice to be uncomfortable all the time. No, what I mean by that is testing and trying out new things that you're not used to, that you've perhaps never done before, or that are not natural to you for a set period of time, and learn from them. What have you learned? What have you built? And is it worth moving forward with it? Is it worth continuing to do it? So my question to you is, what do you tend to laugh at and say, I could never do that, when someone asks you to do it? Is it when someone asks you to sing in front of people, to give a presentation or a talk? I was the person who would say, I'm not a runner. When I was younger in school, I was a sprinter. I would sprint. I would do 100 meters. I would do long jump and I would do a 100-meter relay. Ask me to run more than 100 meters and I would feel like I was going to pass out. I'm the sprinter. That's what I would always say. And I decided that I've put that label on myself and defined myself as that person and not even given any room to explore, build, and shape my potential to do longer distance running. And so I started to take action to invest in my potential to do a 10K or a marathon one day. I ended up doing my first 5K about 3 weeks to a month ago. I think it was about a month ago. And this is going from someone who always said, I'm a sprinter, I don't do long distance. That 5K is also investing in my potential to do a marathon one day. Those are the very things you need to be doing. Whatever you laugh at when someone tells you, oh, give it a go or try it, are the very things you should be doing or trying. The things that you say, oh, I could never do that to, those are the things you want to start practicing running experiments on. And the beauty of an experiment is, because it is just a test, you don't have to commit to it forever. You're just trying it to see. And there's no harm that can come from that. What really is the worst that could happen? But this links to the second thing you can do to invest in your potential and grow your potential today, which is to up the ante. Up the ante on something that has already become comfortable for you. So at some point, I wouldn't say yet, but at some point, 5K runs will become comfortable for me. So upping the ante would be going for a 10K, or it doesn't always have to be where you're increasing. It could be teaching someone else how to run a 5K, or it could be documenting the process of running, or shifting the kind of supporting activity you do around your run to help you be a better runner, whether it's stretching, the stretching you do, or incorporating more sprinting into your running technique. Upping the ante doesn't always mean doing more of it. It could mean doing it in a different way. that's more challenging, or sharing it in a way that might make you feel stretched or challenged. And teaching others will always stretch and challenge you. So up the ante in some way on something that has already become comfortable. That's another way that you can invest in your potential. The third way, which might sound contradictory because I've said don't do the thing that is comfortable, but this third one is nuanced. So the third thing is to keep compounding your strengths. Compounding those strengths means adding new skills that enhance the existing strength, the existing thing that you're good at. And that goes a huge way to investing in your potential. So let's just say you are brilliant at baking and you cook food that looks good and tastes good. And everyone tells you that you are brilliant at that. Compounding those strengths would look like not just being good at baking and making things look good. It could mean being good at running events, project management, for instance. You're compounding and enhancing the thing you're already good at by adding a new skill to it that makes it go even further and increases and expands your potential as well. You're enhancing the impact and the strength and the power of your existing ability by adding a complementary skill to it. And the last thing that you can do to grow and invest in your potential is to ask other people, not just anybody, people who are observant and insightful. Ask them what they see. It needs to be people who can think expansively, who are not so narrow in their thinking, because otherwise really you're inviting judgment or maybe even projection. You're really looking at people who can observe you objectively as well, that aren't bringing in their assumptions of who they think you are, who they even want you to be. Ask people around you who are insightful, who can look at you objectively, who observe well, who listen well. Ask them what potential they see you having. What do they think you could have the ability to do in the future based on the things that they see you're doing and investing in today? Ask yourself that question too. This is so important because it will direct and guide you when it comes to where you put your focus, where you put your time, and how you make your decisions each day. And if you don't quite have access to anyone in your immediate environment that is observant and would have the objectivity needed, find a coach. Find a coach or a mentor who can do that. You've got to pick the right people because they may be able to see things you can't, and that can help to direct where you focus and what you look at building. So pick one of these four today and decide where can you expand your potential based on that. How can you invest today to expand what you can do tomorrow? And each time you choose potential over procrastination, over perfection, you are literally crafting a new future for yourself and new possibilities. Thank you for being here with me today. It's been great to have you. See you in the next one. The No More Drafts podcast is about movement, not perfection. So before you go, what can you move out of draft mode this week and into imperfectly done? Even if it's a mess, and even if you don't feel ready yet. And if you want more support, come and join me on YouTube, where you'll find me as Louise Corinwe, and also follow the No More Drafts podcast, which is on YouTube as well. And if you want live community support and accountability with group coaching from me, join the Done Mode Collective by signing up to my newsletter. And most importantly, if this episode helped you in any way, don't overthink it. Just share it with someone whose potential is way too big to stay stuck in their head.